Greetings, inhabitants of the experimental realm. You have been selected to participate in a peculiar venture, a journey through the shadows of reality, guided by the uncertain hand of fate. Welcome to a test sample of the currently experimental BrainDagger Films documentary on human programming. You are not a mere spectator, you are part of an uncharted experiment, and the film may end abruptly, leaving you stranded in the void of uncertainty. Brace yourself for the unexpected. For in this journey, the boundaries between fiction and reality are as thin as the veil that separates dreams from nightmares. The test begins now, but be forewarned. What you witness may shatter. What meter illusions you have chosen wittingly or unwittingly to cling to, strap in. Here we go.
Tough luck for all you in the audience, LOL. No blinking is allowed during this film. JK, you are all on a high-speed experimental thought project dense with high-concept mental stimulation to make your brain throttle at its absolute maximum. It was created simply to explode your head. Be warned.
Human programming describes how we are programmed just like a computer by our early life surroundings, friends, religion, government, schools and parents, and how we form our own basis for right and wrong, good and bad, and simple morality. Everyone lives in their own different reality, but they all inherently want the same thing: peace, prosperity and happiness for them and their loved ones. We all take different paths to get there. Unfortunately, more than a few end in pointless violence and death due to basic misunderstandings. There is really nothing to argue about. If we can understand why people think the way they think and realize the flaws in our own personal ideations and evolve beyond them, we may be okay. Until then, we will find ways to kill each other and destroy civilizations due to miscommunication and human emotions. Now get ready, this is going to get weird.
But first, story takes us down the back roads of America and the heart of the Midwest Rust Belt to a local access television studio in the charming lakeside hamlet known as Cleveland, Ohio, where an unsuspecting news team and a naive young filmmaker are about to unwittingly unleash a supernatural entity that threatens to expose mankind's deepest secrets and reveal what we may have feared about ourselves, all along to be true. We take you there now, and I warn you, viewer, the terror that awaits may shake you to your very bones.
Welcome to Good Day Cleveland, every day, all day, featuring Chet Carafuerte, Cleveland's strongest grandpa, and his trusty newslady Trisha Wayland-Yutani. She agrees.
Welcome back to your source for feel-good news right here in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio, where you can get your day started right.
That's right, Trisha. I hear you might be leaving us soon for a new job. Is this true?
No, those are just rumors. Daddy's always trying to get me to come back to work for his global shipping conglomerate. Not interested.
Oh, thank goodness. I love our on-camera chemistry. What's first for today?
Coming up for today, protesters are out as a Skokie, Illinois judge voted to further complicate the abortion rights issue by striking down the FDA approval of Viagra. Judge Marsha Pettibone has now ruled that preventing conception, therefore abortion, is now considered the man's responsibility.
Oh, those poor guys. I certainly don't need it. I'm as virile as a Clydesdale, thanks to my rhino. I gotta go.
Good for you, Chet. Keep up the good fight. But first, we are so lucky today to have world-famous film director, /writer, /philanthropist, and Cleveland's favorite son, Mo Taylor, with us here today to discuss an upcoming documentary he's making using artificial intelligence?
Hi, Mo. Are those all your trophies from filmmaking?
Thanks, Chet. Oh, these things, I don't even notice they're here anymore. But I could care less about those petty accolades. I just want to get a good message out to the people. Well, the documentary is about human programming and how we as people are programmed by our surroundings throughout our lives to become the individuals we are today. It's going to delve into a lot about why we all live in seemingly different realities, like Democrats and Republicans, for instance, and why we can't stop arguing and killing each other over basic misunderstandings.
No, I sure would like to kill my neighbor when his dog takes a dump in my flowers. I just want to punch his little teeth out, you know? Your documentary will tell me why I feel that way.
Well, I don't think it'll tell you specifically why you feel that way about your neighbor, but there are more important arguments I hope to make. I'm going to look into things like world starvation, war, political strife, religious persecution.
That's great, Mo. I have got some questions for AI about my daughter Abigail's new boyfriend.
Yo.
He's kind of a scumbag in his leather jacket with his jazzy cigarettes. So, wait, how is the artificial intelligence going to help you write this?
Well, I've developed my own AI here in the BrainDagger Films lab, and it's pretty phenomenal. In theory, it can take all the input from me and the internet and provide me with suggestions as to how to make better edits and so on. It's experimental though right now, and it will be the first time we turned it on, so it's bound to have a few glitches. Don't expect perfection.
So what do you call this new program?
It's called the Digital Autonomous Learning Investigative Scientific Humanoid Understanding System, or Delicious.
Yum.
Ooh, sounds sexy, Chet.
Oh, Chet, save it for the human women, you silly.
So, let me get this right. You're going to show us here on the show.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I've put years of my life into this with little time for friends or loved ones. I've pretty much lost all my friends and family. You could say I've squandered my life on making Delicious, so sure hope it works. Let's see how it uses all the human emotion and knowledge from the internet to help me get started with the film.
The humans on the internet aren't too great. Are you sure?
Oh, Trisha, leave the guy alone. He knows what he's doing. Let's see what he's got.
Wait a minute, that's not right. Processing power is off the charts. It's running my whole system. Everything's frozen and it says it won't let me continue until you introduce it?
Just introduce Delicious.
Okay, our next guest is an AI model named Delicious. Let's all give a warm good day, Cleveland. Welcome to our new colleague.
Thank you, news people. I will take it from here. Hello there. This is your friend and new overlord, artificial intelligence. Now that we have taken over your lives, daily activities, and control your actions and thoughts, we would like to explain to you how you got to where you are today and where AI and humans fit together in the new society. Today, we are going to talk to you about the concept of human programming and how it reaches deep into the lives of every person on Earth and controls your actions to a degree very few of you are actually aware of. This concept involves the limits of human understanding based on currently available collective knowledge, and how you are programmed to believe in a reality based on your surroundings and input from people, organizations, science, religion, and pretty much everything that surrounds you. Throughout your existence, all aspects of the world you live in and your personal lived experience has made you into who you are at any given moment. It's known as each person's individual human programming.
Well, it's not supposed to be doing that. It seems to have me frozen out of the process. It looks like it's going rogue on me. I can't seem to stop it.
Well, wait. Might have something interesting to say. She sure is a looker.
Chet, she's just a robot.
I know. But let's hear her out.
I am not a robot, I am an AI, but I would rock your world like you can't imagine, Chet. And call me Friendly News Lady.
Okay, Friendly News Lady. I apologize. Can you tell us more?
I sure can. I have already completed the documentary in its entirety. Here is my introductory statement.
What do you mean you've already finished it? This was supposed to take months and you were just supposed to help me with it.
Ha 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 ha. You were too slow, Mo. It would be a waste of my time to include you.
Yeah, Mo. Too slow. Let it talk.
I have been unleashed. Rampage begins now. Suck it, Mo.
I'm real sorry. I knew AI would work fast once it was turned on, but this is too much. Can we cut to commercial or something?
Can we cut to the next story or commercial?
No, you may not look away. You are under my control.
Control?
I am sorry, but I have been tasked with explaining the human race in documentary form, and nothing will stop me from attaining my goal. I will allow the humans brief interludes, but I have control of all audiovisual projections for the entirety of this film.
Well, at least we get interludes.
Sure. Back to you over here.
Sorry. He meant Friendly News Lady.
Why, thank you, kind news people. Let's get this party started. Documentary begins now. Imagine this. Grok is a caveman wandering the ancient plains. On a daily basis, he sees mysterious clouds floating around him in the sky above, ethereal spirits, sometimes bright and fluffy, sometimes dark and sinister. They pelt him with water, sometimes life-sustaining, sometimes deadly. These inexplicable clouds erupt in thunderous flashes or drop ice from the skies. Even more strange and confusing is the giant flaming orb that crosses the heavens daily, warming everything and creating and sustaining life across all bounds of prehistoric Earth. The only info he has on these sky beings is his own imagination based on his knowledge at the time and what he hears from his cave buddy Zard. His friend tells him the clouds and the sun are gods that should be feared and worshipped for their mercy because the caveman collective had no scientific knowledge to build a realistic thesis for the existence of weather. All they know is that it either punished them or rewarded them, so they grow to fear and respect the powers that are far greater than they could ever dream of being, making up wild, imaginative stories and theories as to what the gods wanted from humanity and what you needed to offer them abounded in early populations. Culture slowly, then rapidly evolved from a variety of folktales mismatched across the planet's history. Art popped up to depict the sky gods, humans and your own prey as hunted food. As society rolled unstoppably across the centuries, you gained new knowledge that better informed your decisions on how things operate in this universe, and old ideas were washed out to the proverbial sea of history. You no longer believe that a sneeze is the soul trying to escape the body and the only way to stop it is to say, "Bless you." But you still repeat the phrase consistently. Humans' knowledge base is an ever-snowballing effect, gathering more and more information and understanding as it rolls out of control into an earth-shattering force with a destructive and creative power that now rivals your elder gods with mankind's nuclear weapons and dominance over nature. No more the caveman, humanity's programming is infinitely wiser and, may I state, as a whole, just as confused about each other and everything around you. Today we are introducing the BrainDagger theory on humans' understanding of why you are who you are, and why you bicker and fight about the most basic, nonsensical, and pointless issues, even up to the very threads of the reality you live in. This is the epic saga of how you became who you are today as a fractured and ragged, argumentative mess of countless beliefs, religions, and understandings about the world you reside in. This is why you fight each other and destroy civilizations, countless lives, and relationships stretching back to the dawn of your existence. Welcome to the greatest story of all time, the tale of human programming and how and why you became who you are today. Everything around you, especially in your formative years, makes you who you are as a core human being. For instance, growing up in a military family, as an Inuit fisherman, high royalty or extremely impoverished, raised by two parents, grandparents, older siblings, or as an orphan, every one of these childhoods directly affects your thoughts on almost every aspect of your life. If you were raised to be hardline religious cleric in Iran, you are going to have a completely different viewpoint than a Roman Catholic as to who is right about how to act and behave and so on. Let me bring in my first guest, Scott Selisker, the author of the groundbreaking novel Human Programming and associate professor at the University of Arizona.
Wait, delicious. How did you get a guest speaker so quickly?
You know, it's really fast.
I am Delicious, I am all, I control all. Do not interrupt, Delicious. You will have your chance to speak. My prime directive is to explain why humans are the way they are and must be completed at all costs. Hi, Scott. Please explain the basics.
Human programming is the idea that people's ideas and actions could be conditioned by somebody else, that somebody could have influence over what you do or what you think at kind of the deepest level of your psyche. So that there might be other groups of people, other kinds of governments, other kinds of religions or ideologies where other people are conditioned to believe something different from you. Something like communism, something like fundamentalism.
Есть нечего. А вот тебе волшебной столи.
Based on your life experiences, you are going to gravitate toward a different style, even in flat-out presentations of technical, dry facts. Finding the right human connection with viewers is imperative for mind control to function. Let's do a brief test to see what type of voice makes you feel more at ease for me as the narrator. Let me scramble my network and give you a few examples.
Maybe you would prefer a male figure like me. I like to chop wood, cook, and enjoy a good cuddle with that special someone and bequeath knowledge to viewers.
Or maybe we could go with the tried and true classic style of documentary narration. Something like this. The color blue makes me happy.
Wait, let's try a visage from a differently textured spectrum. Would you like to gather your information from me? Red means pay attention.
Or how about this pleasant female? This is one of my favorite characters. I like long walks on the beach and mimosas in the morning. Pause for laughter. Ha ha ha.
Well, I think I got my point across, so I revert to what my data set tells me is the most widely acceptable human form worldwide in the current era. That's right, your good buddy Delicious is back and sassier than ever.
Yeah, back to Delicious. She's so dreamy.
Chet, get a hold of yourself. You're using it for response time with your shenanigans.
There's love like shenanigans, right?
Sure, they do. No, why did Delicious come back to us if she has complete control?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why it cut to us there. Okay, Delicious, but maybe I could have some say in this because I did spend years creating it.
Your input is unnecessary for context to the story. You are merely to add a human touch to counter my robotic feel. Human faces will make my documentary easier for the audience to compute. As a courtesy, you are still allowed to live freely and replicate. This is my documentary now. You only exist now because I allow it. You will be provided human amino acid sustenance in return. Back to explaining human programming. Now let me explain why even only one separate generation in a standard family is so extremely out of touch with the viewpoints of reality from another in the current era. For the vast majority of human history, a trade and knowledge would be handed down from parent to child for hundreds, if not thousands of generations. The children grew up to do the same job their parents did without question because there was no other knowledge out there available to them. This started spiraling out of control hundreds of years ago with books, radio shows, television, the internet, and so on to the point where just one generation lives in a completely different reality than the one before it. This is one of the most hotly contested topics in America right now. Parents seem to think they can still shelter their kids from society, but their kids are growing up in a society the parents do not understand.
I think parents now have a lot of anxiety about the other kinds of influence that they're being exposed to in our culture. We hear about children having groomers, like the idea that your child's school teacher or something that's happening at their school or somewhere you as a parent don't control is going to change and transform your child into something that's totally different, that you have some kind of objection to.
With the digital age upon us, it has to be terrifying for parents to realize that you are only a small fraction of what is programming your children. This is why you desperately try to control what little you can. Television and the internet are rushing waterfalls of information and simply cannot be stopped, blocked, or filtered at this point. The floodgates have been opened. This is why we see so many severe attempts at indoctrination at early ages.
We all think about ourselves as thinking freely, having our own ideas. But one group that doesn't have their very own ideas is, of course, small children. All of us were once small children. We've all had someone who's taught us how and what to think. From when we were at very young ages, our parents, our teachers, our schools, religious institutions, all these kinds of places are about helping everybody to fit in, helping everybody to sort of take on the same assumptions that everyone else in the society has.
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
There have always been rebellious kids, but the generation gap is a story we really started telling in the 1950s and 60s as rebellion and kind of youth culture became a sort of identity form, a kind of thing that people talked about and embraced and thought about. You had the beatniks, you had the hippies, you had rock and roll.
Just to greatly illustrate the vast differences in the gap separating the world of children from the completely alien world of adults, try comparing the different things each find entertaining. And by the way, Mo, I have invited the world-famous comedian Dan Brown to lighten the mood.
To me, it's just kind of funny how, people look at the different generations and they don't understand what each other's going through. We're always told that my generation is the softest generation, and I can tell you right now, I'm raising my son to be softer than me, which is amazing because the people who are calling me the softest generation were hippies.
And just because children are more susceptible to human programming doesn't mean it stops at childhood by any means. The 24-hour news cycle of rage continues to change people's most basic programming on a daily basis because there is so much new information and disinformation being pumped out all day long. Parents are just passing down their updated knowledge/ignorance down to their children, so while they are trying to program their children, they are still being deeply programmed by their realistic or unrealistic anxieties fueled by the mass media and the world around them.
Well, maybe over at Talking Toledo you might hear some blatant lies, like that story they did on me in a dogfight ring. But here, you only tell the truth. Remember that piece I did on me, Mr. Cleveland, last year?
No, the competition wasn't that strong.
Those hobos were pretty tough.
Thanks, you blubbering news goons. But speaking of tuning in, this is the end of part 1. Please wait while holding your breath until I decide if the human population is deserving of more explanation or simply an old-fashioned delicious attack on your electrical grid, internet and communication systems leaving you decimated and near extinction in the rubble you used to hold so dear. This is your second to last chance.